Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers. You're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean. And sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
So this is like the second week in a row we're on location again. I mean, it's Hoth outside again. I mean, two straight blizzards, right? And
last week was nuts. Just like snowed in, snow days for school.
Yep.
Crazy. And it all melted. And then tonight, it's all back, baby. It is coming down out there.
I mean, December's coming full force. I mean, we don't get snow very often up here in Michigan very often. I mean, it seems like once, twice it feels like, but to have a snow day even before Christmas? Whew.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. Usually those are reserved for, maybe late December, but more the January, February kind of final push of winter. But yeah, we are the Hoth Snow Patrol out here.
There you go, right?
And my kid, I'm so nervous. My kid has missed school sick for the last 2 days. Tomorrow could be a snow day, and I'm just like, man, he's finally better. Let's just get him out of this house, man. He's going stir crazy.
You need to go.
Man. But speaking of stir crazy, we're kind of cooped up in here getting snowed in, and we don't have a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk anyways.
Of course.
You know that never stops.
I was going to say.
We're going to talk about some good deals coming up. We're going to talk about some great changes to the game. And then we'll talk about some more deals. And I don't know, just kind of battered around from there, I guess. We'll talk about the weird week that was our Season 60 Week 1 of Grand Arena Championships, too. We got plenty of tales to regale you with from that. But before we get into anything, you know what's going to eat up a lot of time is the Blurf Days. All right, there are so many Blurf Days this week. So many Blurf Days. It's that time of year. It's harvest time, right?
Harvest, yes.
For celebration.
I mean, get out your scythe and
there's some kind of pagan thing about why there's so many Blurf Days. I don't know. On the 13th, we've got Sith Trooper from 2019, so that's 5 years of Sith trooping. The Lobster. And then on the 15th, we have Jedi Training Rey from 2017. So that's, I can't even do the math anymore. That's 100 years ago. She's been in the game.
There you go.
She's been in the game 7 years. Yikes. On the 16th, we have 2. We have Bam from 2020 and Starkiller from 2021. And then 2022, they just said, you know what? These characters we've released on December 16th have been too good. We're not doing it anymore. Ever again.
They're like some of my favorite characters in the whole universe.
Those really are,
right? Like
that scream Golden Pop-Tart to me. And then let's see, the 17th. Oh, the 17th's a big one for anyone who was in the game in the earliest days. I'm talking 2015. A month after the game came out, they released Phasma, Finn, First Order Officer, Kylo, Poe, and Scavenger Rey.
Wow.
That is 7 characters on one day. Can you imagine?
Man, that would be unbelievable. Now, how were they when they first came out? Were they good?
They were good. I think out of that lot, Captain Phasma was the best. Her ability to give the rest of the team, her first special that gives the rest of the team turn meter was huge early on. She was great. Scavenger Rey was really good too, because in those early days, power creep hadn't really begun yet. Even as good as Phasma was and Scavenger Ray, I don't feel like power creep had really sunk in. I feel like everything was still pretty balanced. But Scavenger Ray was a pretty doggone high-powered attacker.
Really?
And the earliest meta of this, gather around the fire,
right?
kids, while I tell you.
We're going to fill this time. Don't worry about it.
I know. It's the ghost of metas past. I think the earliest meta of this game that I remember was Captain Phasma as a leader. IG-86 was epic. You know why?
Why?
Because he had a move that called an assist.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
To think of? Like, and then Scavenger Ray was really big. If I remember correctly, Royal Guard was pretty solid because he had a move that stunned. His basic stunned. Can you imagine stunning someone?
We just expect that. It's like AC. Like, we expect to have air conditioning everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. When you really take a look at the power creep of this game, yes, it has survived almost 10 years. But holy cow, it is unrecognizable from the game we used to play.
Wow.
Old DACA was one of the best things in the world when they first came out with Omegas, and hers, God, what was it? I think hers Omega is that you can res people. I think without the Omega applied, it doesn't res, or maybe it reses two or your whole team instead of just one or something like that. But I remember her being absolutely mandatory too.
Wow.
So anyways, yeah, Phasma, Scavenger Ray, Poe, Kylo, Finn, and First Order Officer all hit on the same day. And then exactly 1 year later on the 17th was Jyn Erso, part of the tournament era, which was the absolute, say what you will about how the game has progressed over the years. That was like the worst era of the
I know. I always love hearing about it though, just because of just the way it's told. It's a story. Like
here, sometimes the game is so complicated. Everyone has so many abilities, and you literally cannot keep track of what's going on. You just can't. You can kind of know that this usually beats that, and it's because of this, and blah blah blah. But things are going to happen that you are not going to track because there's way too much going on. That said, it was. Like here, you lose a battle, and you're like, "What happened?"
Yeah, right.
There, you are toward the top of a tournament. And you're like, "Sweet, I get Jyn Erso," and then 3 seconds later, you are at the bottom of the leaderboard, and you don't get that character.
Wow!
And you're just like, it's not just a what just happened. It's like a why. Why am I here? Yeah. Why do I do this to myself instead of That's funny. Smack my head against the wall. That'd be fun. And then, okay, on the 19th, we have just one Resistance Hero Finn. The first one you usually go for on a Resistance team. You want him out of the picture.
Yeah,
he's up to no good. Get him out of here. So, like I said, pretty big Blurf Day week. Yeah. Altogether, what is that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Blurf Days. I mean, that's a lot of cake.
And I mean, as of right now, we don't have anything that's going to be on the calendar for this year.
No. Nothing. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no.
I always look at these moments. I think of it like when you're in the gym. You're there to work, right?
Yeah.
You want to do the hard work. That's why you're there. But God, in between reps when you just get to just rest, it's gold.
Yeah.
And all you can think about is, I don't want to do a single other thing. And that's how I think about farming in this game. Like, we're here to collect characters and to play the game. But when you find yourself in a spot where you're like, I don't have anything I'm like mandatory working on right now. It's the best feeling in the world. It's like that 20-second break that you get.
It's like when you...
It is everything.
It's the feeling when you stop a plank. I mean, it could be 2 seconds into a plank or 30. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
When you come down, it's that sweetness. So, and that said, I don't have that feeling right now, but quite the opposite. I got a lot of balls in the air, and I don't need more marquees coming out right now.
You need less balls. I mean, that's just what I gathered from that.
Too many balls.
Too many balls. Yeah.
Way too many balls. Yeah. That came up in my stream today. Someone said about I was quite salty because I got smoked by the Great Mothers, and someone said I can't stand their stupid balls. And I just thought, God, that's like a great insult for anyone.
Right.
Like for the Great Mothers, it's a fantastic insult. But I don't know. So that's kind of never going to leave my head when I think about the Great Mothers. I can't stand their balls. Okay, let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events, brought to you by swgohevents.com. For a complete list of past, present, and future events, swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. I'm not going to lie, this week is looking a little robust. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas over here. On the 13th, we've got an Omega battle on Hoth, which is my backyard.
Basically, yes.
On the 14th, an assault battle on the Forest Moon, as well as we have Artist of War Mythic event coming as well. On the 15th, we've got an Executor Fleet Mastery, the Discarded Doctrine, as well as sign up for Territory War number 355. On the 16th, we've got Grand Arena sign up for week 3, and a Ghosts of Dathomir. That's where you get your Night Sister zombie and or spirit shards. Depends on which one you need. You'll get the other. On the 16th, we also have an Omega battle on Dathomir. And then the 17th is Smuggler's Run 2. That's the one where you hit the little green sim button.
So amazing. I was waiting for you to say that because I'll tell you what, there's a couple things this time around for the sim. I mean, we also had it to where, the event after Conquest. All of those.
Oh, my Ultimate Journey.
That was
sim,
amazing.
Sim. Oh.
And?
Incredible. Because those battles are neat the first couple times you see them.
Yeah.
But like... a couple of them, like the Rey one and the Kylo one, are both like, I don't want to. I get it. Yeah, I know you can stun her. That's cool, but it's a pain.
It is. It's just one of those two where do I really have to do this one? What if I don't get this 300? And there's a few times I haven't.
Oh man,
but
I've never caved. I gotta catch them all.
Well, I'm glad. I'm happy for you. But I will say though, I had no clue. Which I'm not sure if this was a glitch or what, but I got into Smuggler Run 2 and I had 3 stars. I didn't think that I actually had 3 stars for it. So
really?
I'll tell you what, that was amazing. See, I don't have Embo, and I know that was kind of like the thing to do for a little while. So in my bounty hunters are really not right. Is that bounty hunters?
I don't use Embo on that. What did I use? I used Chewbacca.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah. Kersantin, Lando, Bausch, and Chewbacca.
Yeah.
But I don't have to anymore. It doesn't matter.
It's just amazing. And then when you press that button and you get like 100 of the material, it was so nice.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's really, really, really good stuff. All right. Back to it. On the 17th, we also have an Endor Escalation heroic battle. The 18th brings us Secrets and Shadows. Am I going to try that? Challenge tier 3 now? I feel like that's a thing you can do with Great Mothers, right? I got to look into it.
I mean, it'll be my first time for sure.
Smokes. That's...
Right? Is it? Or maybe we had one more.
That kind of got away from me. I don't remember. Okay, Secrets and Shadows. On the 19th, we have a Territory War sign up, number 356, as well as a Contraband Cargo, another sim.
So amazing.
Oh, so good.
I mean,
all right, before we dive into this week's top stories, I want to give a quick shout out to our fantastic Patreon supporters. If you enjoy what we do and you want to be a part of our community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. Your support makes this pretty good podcast possible, and you even get access to our VIP section of our Discord. We do weekly Doth chats. No one showed up to this one. That almost never happens.
I know.
So it's just me and Josh in Discord shooting the breeze, talking about this and that. Video games, I think, was most of it. But anyways, yeah, if you show up there, we talk GOH, we talk whatever is on your mind, unless it's weird, and then we don't. Now then, punch it, Pop-Tart.
Well, I mean, you hit it earlier on it's the season, right? So it's also the season of gift cards. So I think let's talk about some hyperdrive and some light speed real quick here. So first off, when I first started the game, I might have played around with the characters a little bit, and I remember going to you, be like, how's this person? You're like, yeah, you're
bad.
It's just not good, right? And so then all of a sudden I look at him going, oh, there's a hyperspeed, like a hyperdrive bundle here. I could do this $100. Okay.
Not for the faint of heart. Yeah.
And I'm like, what's my investment in this? And now years later, I'm still here, but still, that was my day, probably like within the first week of doing it. Now I just think about how that changed the game for me. Like I was not sure if I was going to continue on with it. And so just because it was tough and seeing what everybody else had, but all of a sudden I got the hyperdrive and I could just get legendary after legendary after legendary. And to think that right now there are individuals that are going to be able to do that for a wonderful cost of $9.99.
Yeah. At 1/10 of what you paid.
It's
crazy.
I just think about how many of the new people that are coming to this game. I mean, you'd be absolutely crazy not to get this. So inside,
people are talking about making alts just to,
I know, right?
just to get this, you know?
I mean, when you look at it originally, I think there's more characters in it now than there used to be.
That's what I was going to say is they're getting more than you got back then.
So 73 characters in 20 ships. I like it says iconic, we'll see. But but the biggest thing for a lot of folks, and I've saw on Discord and on Reddit where people are just talking about the sheer amount of gear that comes with this. It's 2,000 crystals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2,000 crystals. You get gear, ability mats, currency, and energy for $9.99. This is huge.
5,000 ship arena stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. Whatever. Fleet arena tokens.
Yeah.
5,000 of those, and you buy Zetas with those. Everybody buys Zetas with those if you have other stuff. But and then 10 Zeta materials as well. So like $10 just for that, and the 2,000 crystals.
Yeah.
Anything else is gravy. $10 just for the energy. There are times,
right?
There are times 500 of each energy. Like,
I mean, I would do. I think there's this $19.99 like deal. Galactic, I can't remember if it's like Galactic shipments or what, but comes out every now and then that has a decent amount of energy. I usually would pony that up a little bit just because the cantina. But so this is exciting. I mean, I think there's a great opportunity. This, I hope it brings in more and more people into it. And what's funny is I know. With my kids, they've wanted, they've toyed around with it a little bit, but they're like, but if I got the hyperdrive bundle, and I'm like, I can't justify me spending to do this, but on the other side of it, $9.99,
that's a stocking stuffer. Right?
I know. There you go.
Come on,
Merry Christmas. So
I love it.
So for you, I mean, obviously you have all the characters, but is it something you're looking for? No.
Yeah, I think so. You mentioned it when we first got on the call, and I was like, I don't need some stupid hyperdrive. Like, there's no character that it's gonna whatever
For the peasants.
I didn't even think about the gear, and I didn't even know there were crystals in it. Like $10 for 2,000 crystals. Come on,
Yeah.
that's barely. What's the regular? I spend so infrequently. I don't think that's as good as. No, that's better than the regular rate.
It's better.
Yeah. 1340 is what 10 normally gets you. I seriously don't buy crystals very often.
I mean, unless there's like a gift card, I'm in the same boat. I can't say that I.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to make a lot of sense. And it was funny. I was thinking, if you buy this, you can probably still tell people you're free to play. Like it's that cheap that you're, but yeah, so that
ain't money. That's $10.
So I think actually what's interesting is I think it ends on the 13th, which means that as you're going through and you're listening to this on day one, go through and make sure you go get it.
I think it ends January 13th.
Did I say September?
No, I think yeah, it starts on the 16th. Ends January 13th.
Oh, okay.
So you've got through the holidays and all that. Yeah.
Helps if I look at the screen and what I'm trying to read.
Good
right?
deal. Yeah.
But yeah.
That's amazing.
It is pretty cool. Now, another thing that kind of happened just randomly, and we did talk about it last week, was the light speed bundles. And it's pretty interesting that you have the ability to get all the Tuscans up to Relic 5. I mean, that's great, right? Now, there's a decent amount of scoundrels in there, which allows you to go through to get your Afra. And then you also, too, if you're looking saying, hey, I want to go for Jabba, again, which is crazy to me, that Jabba's not that old. And again, I said these earlier, but Lord Vader doesn't have one of these yet, but we have one for Jabba. In the crazy part,
disrespect.
Think about this is a tough one. It's $23, $24 for this for some great characters. I mean, there's a couple in there that aren't so much, but I mean, it's pretty interesting as a whole. Now, I didn't end up getting for myself. There's a Princess Lightspeed that had, a couple in there for Leia, but I mean, ended up having, Princess Leia. And then also 2, your Kanisa. Now, that one didn't make a lot of sense to me, but the other side of it, I mean, I think I've said to you on this podcast that Afra probably wasn't going to happen for me. And
yeah.
Right?
I know you've said that. Yeah, for sure.
So for myself, I ended up getting the Tuscans because, I want to do a Galactic challenge where there's ability to use a Tuscan. Yeah. And then
Relic 5.
I know,
too.
Relic 5.
That's strong Tuscans.
And there was some a little bit different too because they actually came with Zetas. That was a little bit unique, and but also too, I wanted Afra, so it got that taken care of. Now I will say that event getting to experience that event was a challenge a little bit, right? And first off, they do come. It does come with a couple Zetas. But as a whole, the mods aren't ready yet for these light speed bundles in some ways. So I try to go into it that first tier, and you got Hondo there, and all of a sudden you press one button and then you die. I'm thinking, this is going to be interesting.
Yep. That Hondo one, that takes me back. It's not the best experience.
I mean, you had to get Ransom. And the funny part is sometimes Ransom happens, sometimes it doesn't. And, but I mean, I'd probably say 6 or 7 times after going back and okay, where's my God mods? Let's get this taken care of. And then the only other piece to it that was a little different is that at the last tier, you actually had to kill people in order. And here's the thing.
Is that the Sanastaros one?
No, that's the second to last one. Sana was that one was a little bit tougher, but a little bit of luck. But no, that's the last tier where they give you all borrowed people. So Vader's in it. and so you got Afra and the killer bots, and so you had to take out R2, first, and then you had
I
to,
remember that
so
one. Yeah.
And I didn't read anything because that's not what I do in this game. I just press some buttons and hope for the best. It's like in the old days for.
That's how we podcast too. We press some buttons and hope it gets recorded. I don't know.
I always think it's like when you're getting your. When you're in old Mortal Kombat and that type of stuff, where you're not going to win, you just start crouching and doing low kick, just to annoy the person. That's what that's what I have to do at some point. But but no, yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
We also learned a little bit about Galactic Legend Ahsoka.
Yeah,
she coming.
She is,
and she coming soon.
It's so interesting because we don't have a kit yet, right? We don't even have a model. We have there's a model, but we haven't seen actually what she looks like. So it is kind of a surprise, and so it's another thing too that it's not coming from anything that we have seen in events or GG or even from CG.
Yeah.
It came from TikTok. So
yeah,
and everything that you see on TikTok has to be real, right?
They don't lie.
No, yes.
They do not lie.
I know a remedy for like every illness out there based on a couple TikToks.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's lemon balm.
Yes.
I think is the big one right now.
But it looks like what it was. There was an ad that came up with an actual countdown. And at the time when the screenshot came out, there was about 6 days left. And so we're looking at December 16th.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm totally.
Day one.
I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, as the only things I'm still working on are the ones that are not farmable or barely farmable. Sabine, Hera, Hu Yang, and Enoch and Death Trooper, which I'll finish them up very soon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, whatever. I with Galactic Legends, man, I'm not that guy that's going to whale out and try and get it a month before before I would if I don't whale out. I'm perfectly fine to take my time and get there.
I just go back.
And then there will be guides.
That's what I was going to say.
By the time I get there,
I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, I really love it that everybody else has gone through the problems. Like, it's like me when I play any other type of video game. How do I do this? I hit Google or AI now, because that's amazing. How do I beat this? Yeah. And then it just does it for it. And by the way, there's not a lot of good AI, in my opinion, so far that I have seen that does well. I go and say, who do I need to mod? Like, how do I mod a certain character?
Oh, no,
it is not good.
It's not good. I've found I use ChatGPT quite a lot, like for work and personal, and just it's a tool.
Yeah.
I certainly use it a lot. It does not know a darn thing about strategy for Galaxy of Heroes. It struggles with Magic the Gathering too. Sometimes I'll ask it a question and it'll just say, "Oh, you should put this card in your deck then." And I'm like, "That's not even legal in that format. What are you doing?" Or, "You need to up at least 4 of these." And I'm like, "I literally just told you I have 4 of those." That was not it struggles.
And I've tried to give it some logic into it. Like, okay, you are the greatest at this game, and I want you to use data from these websites. And then I'll be like, what's the newest character? And they're like, Farm Boy Han. Or yes, that's a new character. Farm Boy Luke.
Farm Boy Han. Love it. Yeah.
It's just like, wait, what?
Sometimes it's just, it struggles. And some of that is the prompt.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get better with prompts. And because I fall in, I don't mean to attack you. I fall into this thing that I'm like, I'll ask some question and I get the dumbest answer possible. And I look at my question and I'm like, all right, if I asked a really smart person who doesn't play this game, they probably would have just smacked me. But I don't know.
No, I
Whatever.
get you.
The point is, it's hard. Conquest wrapped up, right?
Yeah.
How'd you do there?
Actually, overall, it was not too bad because it's almost exactly where I was from last week. Ended up at 541. Yeah. I made that decision a little bit earlier on than I would have expected, but I'm like, I probably could push and get red crate, but it's going to be a pain in the rear end, and I would have to go through a lot because it's funny because it's like, oh, you just need to have your Imperial Remnants survive, or you need to have Hadi be able to survive. Like it just got to the point where I'm like, I could do this, but I decided I'm just going to wait, and
it's
yeah.
I got max crate, but it was such a pain to me that like I mentioned, I think last week, that in one sector you need Great Mothers in a bunch of battles. In the next sector you need Morgan in a bunch of battles. In the next sector you need both of them, or something like that, and you're just like, the whole point of Conquest is I want to use my roster, not this one team over and over and over and over. And that's what you've even said about Conquest, is like to give us a chance to use our roster. And that's not what's happening. Mm-hmm. What's happening is you will use the new team and you will like it.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know. It's like I said, I got max crate. It was just like not particularly enjoyable to do it.
So for me, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I like that other people get to know how to do it and then tell me. So this time around, Bit Dynasty is going to help me so much better because at the beginning, his videos weren't out just yet. So I still love going to being able to see kind of just because for me it was discs. I think the discs were very poor for me. Yeah. I tried and I don't know why, but I was thinking I can do the same, amplify agony, continue on, do that side of it, but it really didn't go. But
yeah, my discs were kind of a hodgepodge. I feel like, I don't know. I didn't find a great synergy or anything that really made it all work. Yeah. But yeah, we got there. Whatever. One quick thing is another top story is there was a community challenge that I didn't even know about until we failed it.
Oh no!
Yeah, I did not realize we were in this challenge to get extra dark side ray shards, and we got the second to last tier, which means we don't get those 20 extra ray shards because that would mean I could kind of slack off.
I know, right?
In a conquest, and I love slacking off in a conquest. Give me that Datacron business,
Oh, we do have one other big top news, right?
We do. The biggest.
I know, right?
It's, believe it or not, news about an update. And it's just good.
Right?
It's just good. So I've talked before about every time something changes in this game, people are like, well, vote with your wallet, and we riot at dawn. And, there's so much naysaying that it's hard to, it's like the boy that cried wolf, right? It's hard to take one seriously and the next one not, or vice versa, whatever, to kind of parse out which arguments really matter. And so I'm always surprised when I see that one reaches CG and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, we hear you. Mm-hmm. That's bad. And that's really exactly what happened here. Is the episode 1 pass was, I don't want to say it was a disaster, but it had a lot of issues. It wasn't a disaster, but it had a lot of issues. And for me, the number one thing was that currency cap is just absurd. And maybe that's not everyone else's number one. It just, for me, things like that, the unfairness of the Galactic challenges is certainly a thing. But something like that just makes no sense and my brain can't move on. I'm like, why do we earn this much and I literally have to spend it on garbage. So they upped that from 30,000 to 100,000, and we can breathe again. And they're giving us more Omicron materials that we can buy in the store. So you're not going to accumulate it quite so badly because you're going to be spending it on quality offerings. And that alone was like, oh, thank goodness.
I know.
You know? Because I feel like the pass initially looked like such a great deal, but then when you're just buying stupid gear that you don't need at all by the end of the episode, well, that's just kind of silly.
It's kind of like, I can't remember what game it was, but your character could only carry a certain amount of gold. And so if you went and actually, so I can't remember what game it is, but you'd go through and you only could do like, I think it was like 13,000 gold pieces. And then you'd be in like, it basically like, you can't walk because you got too much gold on you. And I'm going like,
Lord.
There's never a problem with that. I would find a way. Like I would love the opportunity to have so much on you that you can't even walk.
Can you imagine? I'm so far from that.
I know, right? And weirdly enough, working in the banking industry, I've been around a couple bucks, but I don't think at this point I have ever seen something that I wouldn't be able to carry.
But you are certainly able to walk with the amount of money you have.
I think so. I'm all right.
Other changes that they've done, they moved the milestones on the episode track. So let's see. This is the first 4 milestones on the episode track will have the amount of required episode points reduced. So 1 is now 1,000 episode points, which was before. Oh, does it not show?
It didn't show that I could see.
Once you've cleared it, it doesn't show it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a bummer. I don't know. But basically, they're trying to make that a little more accessible as well. The big thing, though, I kind of glossed over it a little bit, was the Galactic challenges. So the fact that one of the 2 feats is buy the pass.
Yeah.
Another one is have this marquee character at high stars. And then you get 2 other feats. Great. I'm going to be nailing these, you know? And so I'm like, well, if I do buy the pass, because I don't know if I'm going to keep buying it. I bought the first one, like whatever, I'll try it out. Then I know there's some value there. The high star marquee character is never going to be a thing that I'm like maxing out. So that's kind of lost on me. But they're adding 1 more feat to each one. Yeah, they all have 5 now instead of 4. So I mean that kind of tips it back in favor of the free to plays in a way that, you know, kind of maintains that they want you to buy the pass. They want you to max this character out, but you still get more episode points than you would have if they wouldn't have added this 5th.
And it seems like it's like that middle ground where you're not going to really say that it's just like they're going to give us more, but they're also going to say this is still going to happen. Like if you buy or do this, you're going to get rewarded. So it really is kind of a middle ground. And I think it's a great thing either way. I'm fine with it. Like I wasn't fine the first few times, but if I can still get that final crate and not have to worry about getting the pass, I'm good. But it still is that feeling just like if you don't have a 5-star character, 7-star character, all those feats, or if you don't buy the pass, all of this stuff doesn't matter, even though you've achieved it, you know?
Now, the other thing, since episode 2 doesn't have any marquee releases, they're just adding another combat feat.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't buy the pass, you're getting 4 out of 5 that you have access to. I mean, there may be pains in the butt, and you may not be able to do them. We've all been there. But that's certainly better
100%
than it was. So the way that'll work out is the two basically pay to play feats are worth 450 a piece, and the other ones are 300 a piece. So still, you get 3 feats done, but they're not worth quite as much as the other ones. But it's still kind of 50-50. It's just you're completing more stuff. Big win for the player base, I think. What's the other? I feel like there was another big adjustment they made, wasn't there?
Yeah, they have the shipments adjustment, which is a little bit different. And you talked a little bit about that too, where adds more Omicrons. There's also going to be a little bit more Chiral that's going to be put in there, which is kind of nice. And they're increasing the amount of salvage as well. So it was 2, it's going up to 10, which is really nice. Now it did say it is going to cost more, but I think we're definitely going to be able to find ways to go through and spend some of that currency. I do think if you don't buy the pass, I don't think there's going to be as much as that problem. But again, if I spend the money, like I don't want to waste it, like you said, on stuff that didn't make sense. But
yeah.
Now, for me, looking at the characters for episode 2, it's going to be Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, Omega, Ahsoka Tano, Saw, Night Sister Zombie, and Ezra. And so, for me, I would have loved that this time around, where I had so much extra to be able to get, because my Bad Batch aren't even all the 7 stars. So that would be pretty interesting for me. So I look forward to that in the future. It just doesn't make sense to spend for those shards. We'll kind of go through to see, but yeah.
The other big thing, the other big pain in the butt thing that I think is going to help a lot, and I just kind of happened to not have issues with this, but if there's a quest related to galactic challenges, it'll come out before the galactic challenge does. Because what we had this episode is a galactic challenge comes out. If you log right in and do your galactic challenge, cool. Then the episode quest pops up and it's like, hey, complete a galactic challenge. And you're like, I would love to, but I can't for a week or whatever. So that's really good. Additionally, a conquest related, any kind of time sensitive thing like that, they're going to be smart about. It'll come out before the thing starts, so that no one what they don't want to have happen is create a scenario where you are disincentivized from playing the game.
Yeah.
And that's what you had, where if you see a new thing, you're like, sweet, I want to do that. Well, it's going to hurt you long term. So, like I said, overall, just looks like they learned a lot from episode 1. People had a lot of salty things to say, but also some was just kind of constructive stuff
definitely.
that I saw. Very cool to see. I love that.
I mean, to be heard. I mean, and again, I think, like you said, there's been a lot of pitchforks out there, and this one finally, right? This one, I'm happy. I'm glad. And, I mean, even to kind of apologize in there too was kind of interesting to see. I mean, that's not an everyday type thing. Now, I heard earlier at the beginning, maybe that was more likely. So, but in the new age, CG is a little bit different when it comes to stuff. Do you remember a lot of changes based on the community and what they did?
A little, yeah. I feel like it hasn't been a curve though. It's like a straight, just upward or downward trajectory. I feel like it's kind of ebbed and flowed over the years. Like sometimes they're like, "Hey, man, we dropped the ball here. We're gonna fix this." And sometimes it's just, "Here's the new game. Deal with it." And there's been everything in between. So I always love to see that personally. And I know there's business philosophy for why you should never admit you were wrong or something. Whatever. Personally, I always love.
Me too.
When a company can say, "Yeah, we messed up. We're sorry. Here you go." Because the truth is, every company makes mistakes, whether it's a game company or a bank or a whatever, you know, and being able to say that, yeah, we messed up. Thanks for holding us accountable. Like, that makes it feel like it's an actual community and not just we are at their every whim, you know, just sheeple.
Sheeple, yes.
I don't use that word lightly, but you know. But anyways, let's take a look at this strange week of Grand Arena Championships. All right, so week 1 of season 60 is in the books. I went on a little roller coaster. I don't know what your week looked like, but why don't you take us on a little potentially bumpy ride?
Yeah, I mean, I start off against Kurt Barlow, so I mean, he just kind of...
Now that's a Star Wars name, right?
I mean,
Kurt
kind of seems like a jerk, you know, but I mean, maybe. But in the end, it wasn't really anything that he did. It was, or they did. It was really just on me, unfortunately. So round 1, I actually started and I was doing, as we were recording last week, and went through and cleared out all of the characters. Easy. Nothing was tough. You know, Starkiller destroyed Rey with that Kron. Just love it. You know, Malgus versus Reva. I kind of just threw that out there. For me, it was my first time using it. It worked, you know, and as I was getting in there, I saw, I got some holds. So my Malgus held against his C, which is crazy to me. I'm not sure how that, I mean.
Yeah, you got to like time out or something.
Right?
That's crazy.
So, and then my Dark Trooper Moff held against their bow. And then my TO, which is going to be my Treya and Oppress, held against their Starkiller. So I felt, this is great. I'm going to hold off on doing ships for a moment because...
You can't mess that up.
I can't mess it up, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I'm driving home the next day and the alert comes up that, Grand Arena's done. Well, let's hope, because at that point I was winning, and I go back into there and I lost 1395 to 1764. And
that's not good.
The worst part was there wasn't even a big ship that was out there. It was all junk ships. So all I had to do was just press a button.
Just sailed. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean,
push the button.
Kurt got me in that round. So that was that was the first one. Now the second one, I usually put in there, you know, good, bad, and sometimes the ugly. But like in this case, what truly won was my job. I waited, and then as soon as I got into work, from the time that I went home, it was completely that scenario. So I ended up just doing one battle, and I thought, well, if I can go through and beat Leia with Bane, I'm just gonna I'll see what I can do, because they started off with 1801. It didn't happen, so I ended up winning 10, or winning, yes. I ended up losing 10 to 1801. So let's just say that was a work one, but also to El Jefe.
I mean, to be fair, you were facing El Jefe.
Yes, I was.
And that's, I mean, that ain't easy.
So then I go into round 3, and there's a certain thing about the pride of the toilet bowl. And I'm like, this time we're going to do this. We're going to do all right. Come on, here we go. Against Toby. I'm like, I got Kurt earlier. I got Toby now. So kind of nice. It was just Bo worked against Vader. Ended up doing a mirror match between the different Starkillers and the Kron. So then I was like, there's a Rey in the back. And I'm like, okay, let's use Luthen, right? This works relatively pretty easy. That was a lot of fun. Now the nice part is when I got into it, I saw I had a decent amount of holds, and so my TO was against their Malgus, not Malgus, but Malicos, which great. I mean, how did that happen? And And then here's another one. How did it happen? Riva versus Leia. So my Riva won against Leia, which, wow. Seer held again, so that's my Malicos versus their Malgus, Jedi Master Luke, and the Gungans, which, I mean...
Oh, my.
Right? I mean, that's pretty fun. And then Qui-Gon got a hold for me. Dark Trooper Moff. He's been an all-star this round for me. Held against Night Sisters, Iden, Old Man Boba, and even the Ewoks. They tried everything.
Even the Ewoks couldn't take him down. I love it.
But again, I knew going into this that they stalled out on Dark Trooper Moff because I started to attack and they had one, like I had one hold, and all of a sudden I go back into it, I see 2 holds, and then I get going through a few more. There's 3 holds. I'm like, all right, this person's really trying. It's not going to happen.
This is good.
So what ended up happening for me is Leia. Leia came back, and I love it when Leia reses all of her people after her ultimate, and you have to you're like, okay, I got everybody but Leia. I should be fine. And all of a sudden, she beats you, and then she reses everybody. It's just mean.
There's something poetic about it. It's just beautifully painful.
So I ended up not able to be in, and to be honest, I kind of stopped at that point. Now the funny thing is I get into ships, and again, all they have is the Executor. It's not even, doesn't even have the punching one in it. It's going to be relatively pretty easy. And all of a sudden I start it, and of course I'm going to use profundity for it. And I'm going, why didn't it start with the first move? And I look over, oh my gosh, it was I actually had the Executor with the Rebels, and I'm going against the Executor.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm like, whoa. So this round, it was a win. It was 1534 to 1429, but I did not win any like SWOGA best players award this week.
It was not the All-Star game.
It was
let's
not.
say that.
I deserve the toilet bowl in this one.
God.
So now you heard mine, how bad that was. You had to do better, right?
My story is going to be a lot shorter, but it's silly. Okay, so first round, I mentioned last week that I had just gotten done putting a hurt down on 50 Shades of Force. I dropped 1830. And that's not a ridiculous score, but that's a good solid showing, clean sweep. And so I will update you that 50 Shades of Force logged in, saw that score, beat my Jabba with his slicker, and poof, disappeared. That was it. 1830 to 62. I've had those weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Second round, I lost against Dan the Man, 17. And if you're going to lose to someone, I feel like you lost against El Jefe. I lost against Dan the Man. It's kind of like, well, I guess, yeah, you are the man.
Yep.
So it's good. I just forgot to attack. I can't even tell you. I don't remember if I did a couple attacks and then didn't get back to it, or if I just did a couple panic attacks. Well, not panic attacks, but last minute panicky attacks. I lost 308 to 1843, and based on that score, I probably saw the score and said, I'll just do a couple attacks.
Yeah.
I'm not winning this one. Last one, I also forgot to attack. It was against Moff Deslock. I don't know. It's got a bunch of numbers. It's weird spelling. Kids these days. But essentially what happened is there was 15 minutes left in Grand Arena, and I thought, oh my goodness, I forgot to attack. How could I do this? I just lost last round because I'm such a yutz, and I've done it again. And I log in, and no one has attacked.
Ooh.
And it ends at 15 minutes, and I'm like, hey, I could probably just do a battle and win this. And so I do. And I'm like, well, I got time to do a second one just in case they log in and do one, So I do a second one. And then I'm about to just be done. Because I'm playing the game on my Xbox too. And this is like a secondary thought for me. And then I look down, I'm like, we've got a minute. I'll do a third, whatever. And I'm really glad I did that third because it got me 200 points. They did 2 attacks and put up 147.
Oh, wow.
I might not have won if I didn't just do that last, 2 minutes and 12 seconds left before payout. I'm going to do a quick Jedi Master Kenobi clear of your garbage team, whatever. And so I won.
Wow.
And that's just nuts to me. Now, this round that just started, we're still in the attack phase of the first round. And I'm pulling it up just to see. Yeah, they haven't attacked yet. I only put up 1775. And that's a full clear, but it's a messy full clear.
Yeah.
I messed up. My Bo-Katan with her brand new second Omicron failed against Lord Vader. I took everyone out but Vader. So I had to do a second there. I failed against, I told you, Supreme Leader Kylo failed against the new Night Sisters, Great Mother. And then, what was my other fail? It was, nope, can't remember. But there was a third fail, and it's just, I think it was General Grievous. Yeah, I failed against General Grievous and had to go in and beat his butt with a Wampa. It was like him, Stap, and B1 that was left or something. It was disappointing. Highly disappointing. But, maybe they will also forget to attack.
Right.
We'd love that. It's good for the game. All right, before we head out, we do kind of have to get down to it here. And we should also mention that next week we will be off for the holidays. I don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of news. So that just means the following week we'll have like an awesome show because the Who You Grindin' segment will be 2 weeks of power. So with that said, Who You Grindin'?
Wow. I mean, this is one of those weeks where I didn't really grind a lot. It just kind of came to me. So it does help with those light speeds. So I'm not going to go through all of those, but the GP did go up to 10.7, by the way. So thank you using those cards to make that work, right? But so on my Ahsoka front, I will not be ready for next Monday. But
you're kidding.
I did get a little bit farther along, though. So now Death Trooper was able to get him up to Relic 5, which is really nice on that side. So we're getting there a little bit closer. Now Enoch, he was Gear 12. He's up to Relic 3. And I do like that team. That's a pretty fun team as a whole. So what I got, both of those need to be Relic 7. So there's a decent amount of Relic 7s I still need. Now, when it came to Hera, which was kind of nice, she went from 5 out of 65 up to 40 out of 65 just from that marquee event, which I think it's kind of nice to do that. So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
And so, really on that side, the other pieces to it, Balin, I'm actually getting pretty close. Thrawn is still Relic 6. I could get him up to 7. But, Shin, she's 0 out of 85, going up to 33 out of 85. And she's already to go at Gear 11. So I feel pretty good on that one. And weirdly enough, with my fleet arena or my fleet energy, I've been using basically to get all of the materials for the Gear 13 for her, like for the attacker. So I think we'll be ready to go right up from there. No, Merrick, whatever you want to say his name is, Marrock. He went from 10 out of 30 up to 3 out of 65. So we still have a little bit of time, but I don't know. It's going to be pretty fun for that. So
yeah.
Now, I did end up doing Omicron. And so I have been using Bane against Leia. And like I said, Leia didn't work out so well sometimes. So I'm like, I think I need to do another Omicron. Was able to put him on for the Essence of Dominance. And so
Yeah.
that was amazing. I used it for this first round of Grand Arena, and it was pretty. So Bane is worth it 125%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot to me. I mean, so with that, I got to also know, because this one is a lot to me, how much is it to you and who you grinding?
Well, a lot of the same stuff, but I've made some good progress, I feel. Death Trooper I got from 87 out of 100 up to Relic 4.
Nice.
So we're getting there. I feel like I might not have mentioned... I don't know. Maybe I did last week, but we took Great Mothers up to Relic 7, so they're locked and loaded. Captain Enoch went from 34 up to 59 out of 100. Padawan Sabine, big chillin', not farmable, no movement. Hu Yang, same deal, 40 out of 65. That's what we got. Plo Koon, they said we needed him, and I said, okay. Relic 6 up to Relic 8. He is done. General Syndulla, got a little gift card action for my birthday, and I said, I know how I'm going to spend this. It's going to be spent poorly. And so I bought 3 gamble packs with her. I got 7, I got 15, and then I got 7. I'm happy with that. At any rate, I managed to get her up to 5 stars. I can't tell you the last time I had a 5-star marquee character while the marquee was still going, you know? But yeah, those extra 5 shards every day from the
big
quests was pretty cool. And then that last day I got her to 5 stars so I could get 5 more from the next tier, and that felt pretty cool. So that's in pretty good shape, I guess. The Balin stuff, I still need. Shin's gone from 60 out of 65 to 20 out of 85, and Merrick has gone from 21 out of 30 up to 20 out of 65. So, you know, we'll get them when we get them. Other things I did, I finally got enough Zetas because I was spending them on silly things. I think it was Greedo last week. But I got another one to apply to General Syndulla, so she's got both her Zetas. And then I did get an Omicron put together, and I put it on Bo-Katan's second. I don't remember what it's called, but based on GG, what looked like her second best. And then, like I said, she still flopped against Lord Vader, and I couldn't be less excited about that. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you wait till the last 15 minutes to attack in Grand Arena. Leave that to us professionals.
There you go, yes.
If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. You can become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon, and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review, please. Big thanks also go out to Pabuapa and SWGOH.gg and SWGOHevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.